Dear students, about wireless mobile communication, the third unit is going to explain about IEEE formats. Okay, wireless LAN IEEE 802 formats. Okay, so here this topic is explains about wireless LAN IEEE 802.11. What are the new technologies are there in Wi-Fi technology? That is we are going to discuss now. Okay, so in IEEE 802, what are the different standards that we have in Wi-Fi? Okay, so in 802 we have different technologies or like that 802.11, 802.11a, 802.11b. Different technologies are improving in Wi-Fi. Okay, so here we are going to see the different what are the different technologies are there, and IEEE 802.11 stands. It is known as the Wi-Fi lays down the architecture. Okay, so the remaining the further new technologies are based on 802.11. Okay, 802.11 and Wi-Fi LAN uses high frequency radio waves for connecting the nodes. Okay, so these technologies are going to use for the connection of the packets. Is it not? When a source to destination, it is the connection is established and the packets are transforming from source to destination. Okay, so for this Wi-Fi connection, we are going to use the different technologies. Okay, so there are different technologies, different standards in IEEE 802 that are 802.11, 802.11a and 802.11b and 802.11g or like that. Okay, so these technologies are used in CSMA, that is carrier sense multiple access, and for collision avoidance. Okay, for collision avoidance we are going to use these different technologies in Wi-Fi, right? We can see what is the development of Wi-Fi. We can see what is the development of Wi-Fi in this diagram. Okay, so in Wi-Fi LAN connection standards, it is designed, it is differentiated in IEEE 802, 802.11 and 802.11b and 11g, 11n are different standards are developed. Okay, again this 802.11a is again divided into 802.11 AC, AD and AF, AH. Okay, different technologies are improving. Okay, so in 802.11b again the technology it is implemented as 802.11ba, BBB. Okay, see when this IEEE 802 is established, when it started, so IEEE 802.11 was the original version designed in 1997, is designed in 1997 and it was providing only 1 Mbps. Okay, 1 Mbps data can be provided, can be sent in 802.11. Okay, and 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth was using for 802.11. 802.11 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth was using. Okay, and 802.11a, the next generation is introduced in 1999, was introduced in 1999 as the modification of the earlier, that is 802.11. Okay, and it is used for that orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. Okay, the next generation is used for orthogonal frequency division multiplexing and it is using for the physical layer. As you know, it is using for the physical layer instead of HSS, frequency host servicing acts or okay, and it provides a maximum data rate of 54 Mbps. Earlier it was using for 1 Mbps and the next version is using for 54 Mbps with 5 gigahertz bandwidth. Okay, 5 gigahertz bandwidth. And further they implemented to 802.11a and 802.11ac and 802.11ad further technology implemented. Okay, further the next generations are implemented in different versions that are 802.11ac, 11ad and 11af or furthermore. Okay, so 802.11b is specific, that is direct extension of 802.11b. Okay, and that appeared in early 2000. The next version started in 2000 and it uses the same modulation technique, that is earlier it was using that 554 Mbps, it is also using the 54 Mbps. Okay, and this is using for discrete streamline structure, that is in 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth. 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth, and it has a higher data rate, that is 11 Mbps as compared to 2 Mbps. Is it not? Earlier 802.11 was using for 2 Mbps, but this the next generation is using that 11 Mbps. 11 Mbps of data is transmitting. And however, since 2.4 gigahertz to it is increased as it is crowded, and the 802.11b devices faces interference from the devices, interference from other devices. Okay, and further there are the amendments of 802.11b or 802.11ba, 802.11bb, 802.11.11bc. Furthermore, okay, so in 802.11g, it is endorsed in 2003. It is developed in 2003 and it operates in the 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth as, and it provided a average throughput of 22 megabits Mbps, 22 megabits per second. It uses, that is OFDM techniques, that is just now we have seen. Okay, and it is fully backward compatible with 802.11b. It is compatible with 802.11b. Okay, and 802.11g devices also faces interference from other devices, that is in operating in 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth. In 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth. Okay, so furthermore, for every new version in 802.11 is having a different invention. Okay, for example, so this 802.11n is published in 2009 with the variations of 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz bandwidths. Okay, 5 gigahertz bandwidths, and it also variable data rate ranging from 54 Mbps to 600 Mbps. The transmission data of 54 Mbps to 600 Mbps. Okay, and it also provides a marked improvement over previous standards. There is a huge improvement in compared to the previous one, and it incorporating multiple input, multiple output antennas. It is also is implemented in multiple inputs and multiple outputs antennas. Okay, so in IEEE 802.11p, it is amendment for including wireless access in vehicular environments. To support intelligent transportation system. It supports intelligent transportation system. Okay, so they also include network communications between vehicles moving at high speed and the environment. It also for high speed environment, and they have a data rate of 27 Mbps speed. They have a data rate in 27 Mbps and operate in 5.9 gigahertz bandwidth. It operates in 27 and 5.9 gigahertz bandwidth. Okay, so what are the features of Wi-Fi bandwidth? Wi-Fi bandwidth. So Wi-Fi bandwidth is similar to wide bandwidth services since they connect to an internet backbone. It connected to internet backbone with the difference that they use radio waves instead of cables to connect to the last mile of the network. So it will uses the radio waves. The range of most broadband wireless access that services varies around 50 kilometers from the transmit tower. Okay, so as you know, the radio waves are transmitted and transmitted. It is the transmitter tower is transmitting. So the capacity of that tower is 50 kilometers. 50 kilometers range. It will transmit the signals. Okay, so download speeds provided by some wireless internet service providers are 100 Mbps. 100 Mbps the data can be downloaded by this and within the range of 50 kilometers. Okay, we can see the Wi-Fi bandwidths, that is wireless broadband, how it is going to be work. Wireless broadband is divided into fixed wireless broadband and mobile wireless broadband. Fixed wireless broadband and mobile wireless broadband. So what is there in fixed wireless broadband? The fixed wireless broadband provides, that is the internet services for devices located in more or less fixed locations. As it is indicating as a fixed, it is for fixed locations like homes and offices. For like homes and offices, the services are comparable to those provided through digital subscriber line. The connections are established with digital subscription line, that is known as DSL, or cable modem, or also can be used with cable modem, with the difference that it has wireless mode of transmission. It is the transmission of the information is passing with the wireless mode of transmission. The two main technologies is used in wireless WBBR, that is local multiple distribution system, that is LMDS, and MMDS. MMDS stands for multi-channel, multi-point and distribution service. Multi-channel, multi-point distribution services. Okay, so the mobile wireless broadband is also used. Broadband provides high speed broadband, is used for high speed broadband connection from mobile phone services providers, which is accessible from random locations. Is it not? So where the mobiles are randomly used in different locations, so it is also using for random locations. The locations are within the coverage area of the phone towers of mobile service providers, and the connections are subject to monthly service plan subscribed by the user. Okay, so the rates is based on the monthly based services, or is also used for mobile towers. And mobile broadband can be costlier due to its portability. Always, is it not? So that mobile broadband is costly than monthly service plan. Is costly for than monthly service plan. Okay, because of its portability, and also they generally have varying or limited speed except in urban areas. So in urban areas the speed of transmission is different in the other areas. You can see the how it is the architecture of the urban areas, that bitmap given in the image rights. The bitmap is given in the image rights, that is A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, and occupied memory unit as 0 and unoccupied memory is 1. Okay, see the first 5 units are occupied. If you consider A, B, C, D, E, F, so if you see in A, the 5 bits are occupied. That is occupied bits is identified with 1 1 1 1. Okay, the first 5 units are occupied with A, and the B, the next is occupied in B. Okay, so in between it is not occupied is determined with 0. The next 3 inputs are empty. Next 3 inputs are empty, or you can see it is empty, and it is the bitmap of this is 000. The next 3 bits are occupied with 000 for the next version. It is occupied for the next version, and after that the 6 bits are occupied in B. Is it not? Here in B it is occupied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 bits are occupied. So in next bit, that is C, is occupied, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 bits are occupied, and next 2 bits are empty for the next generation, next technology, and the next bit, that is B, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bits are occupied. Okay, so like that the bit variation is explained here, and how the bits are connected with the ABCD. Okay, the key features of bitmap. What are the features of bitmap? Okay, the unit size in bitmaps is very important and should be chosen with care. Is it not? So in every bitmap, we just now we have seen it is 4, 5, 6 different variations are there. So the different variations are chosen for bitmaps. Okay. So if the unit size is smaller, the bitmap will be larger, as it will hold the value 0 or 1. Okay. So if the unit size is smaller, the bitmap will be larger, as it will hold the value 0 or 1 for each of the units. Similarly, if the unit size is larger, bitmap will be smaller. The unit size is larger, the bitmap will be smaller. Okay, so the unit size need not be 0 too large, as even with a unit size of as smaller as 3 bits. Only one bit of the bitmap can represent 24 bits. One bit can be represented with 24 bits. Okay, so what are the advantages and disadvantages of the bitmaps? The bitmap is quite useful, as it provides a way to keep track of the memory using only a little memory for the bitmap table. Okay, so a little memory is using for bitmap table. A bitmap table, a less memory, little memory is accessible for bitmap table. Okay, so the size of the bitmap is purely dependent on the size of the memory. Yes, because for a small bitmap, a small memory is using, so that it is purely dependent on the size of the memory as well as the size of the memory unit. Okay, so that if you consider the disadvantages of the bitmaps are, a major problem in the bitmap occurs if a n size memory block needs to be occupied by the process. N size, that is n size memory block needs to be occupied for the process, and the n size vacancy is needed in the bitmap where the values are all zeros. Is it not? Just now we have seen in the diagram that here it is the zeros. B, that is after before B, and before D, these are the bitmaps or zeros, or planned for the next size. Okay, so then n size vacancy is needed to the bitmap, and where the values are all zeros, where the values are all zeros. This is the 802.11 architecture. Okay, IEEE 802.11 architecture is like it is, the architecture is explaining about it is connected with the internet, that is distribution system, and it is connected with the extended services. Okay, and it is also connected with the stations, station 1, 2, 3, 4 in a location, and different stations are situated in different locations. Okay, that is basic services set, that is BSS and BSS. Okay, here the different stations, station 1, 2, 3, 4 are a different location, and station 5, 6, 7 are a different location, are connected with the distribution systems are, and it is connected furthermore. Okay, see, and these are the advantages and disadvantages of 802.11 AB. Okay, and these are the different stations. Stations are connected with the IEEE 802.11. Okay, so what is the stations are comprises of all devices and equipment that are connected to the wireless LAN. Is it not? So as you know, it is connected to the LANs that just now we have seen wireless access point, and that is WAP, wireless access point, and basic services set, basic service set, that is BSS. So what is a wireless access point? What is wireless access point? What wireless access point is, or simply access points, that is AP, or generally wireless routers, okay, are connected with the routers that form the base station or access. So it is connected, the routers are connected with the base station. Routers are connected with the base station, and it is also connected with the clients, homes, okay, offices, and clients are workstation, that is are workstations or computers or laptops and printers, smartphones, etc. Smartphones or etc. Okay, and basic services set, that is BSS, is a service set, is a group of stations, is a group of stations communicating at the physical layer, at the physical layer, and BSS can be of two categories, that is, or two categories, that are infrastructure BSS and independent BSS. Okay, infrastructure BSS, here it is the devices communicate with other devices, it is communicating with the infrastructure, it is communicating with the network, that is infrastructure. And independent BSS is the device communicates in a peer-to-peer level, peer-to-peer level, that is in system to system it is communicating. Okay, you can see the checksum, it is a 4-byte field containing error detection formats, error detection formats. Okay, here you can see the frame format of IEEE 802.11. Okay, it is frame control and duration and address 1, address 2, address 3, and it is sequence. How many bytes are is performing for each domain. Okay, so 2 bytes are is using for frame control, and 2 bytes is using for duration. Time period, time slots also is given. Okay, and 6 bytes is using for address 1, and 6 bytes is using for address 2, and 6 bytes is using for address 3. This is the instruction format that we can see, instruction format. Okay, so the 2312 bytes is using for data, that is 2312 bytes is using for data, and 4 bytes is using for checksum sequence. What is the purpose of check one? Check one purpose sequence is the purpose of when the data is transmitting, where sometimes the fault tolerance happens. Okay, fault tolerance. So what happens, the sequence may be stopped. So to overcome from the fault tolerance, this checksum sequence is using, checksum sequence is using. Okay, so this is the table is showing that the comparison between 802.16 and 802.11. Okay, so what are the different features, what are the different standards are there, what are the different technology he is using in 802 and 802.11. So the technology is using in 802.16, it is defines WiMAX. WiMAX technology is using. And here in 802.11 it is using WLAN. WLAN is using. Okay. So what is the application area is in 802.16 is last mile of broadband wireless access. Last mile of broadband wireless access. In 802.11 it is using limited area forming LANs. Okay, and versions of the standards are, that is in 802 dot 16 it is using 802.16, 8.16d, 8.16e and 802.16m. Okay, in 802.11 it is using the combination, it is using 802.11a and 11b and 11n. Okay, so what are the different domains of these are the uses? It is used for a wide area, mostly outdoors. 80 IEEE 802.16 is using for widely area, mostly for outdoors, and 802.11 is used for limited area, mostly for indoors. Limited area for indoors. Here you can see the architecture of 8080. Okay, so architecture of 8080 is explained like this. It is with that 8080 40 pin, the 40 pin, and it is the variation of the power control from 0.5 volts, 0.5 volts to 0.12 watts. Okay, and it is also explaining about the 40 pin, 40 pin, and with two control lines. Okay, with two system control, 8226 system control, and this is the 8085 microprocessor. 8085 microprocessor architecture is like this. Okay, see, now let us summarize the important points of 8085. What are the basic points are considered in 8085 and what are the basic points considered in 8085? Okay, 8080 and 8085. So in 8080, 8 dedicated pins are there for data bus. Okay, there are 8 dedicated pins are used for data bus. In 8085, there are also 8 bit data pins are present for add to 87, add 0 to address 7. Okay, so and 16 address pins are used for 8080, and here 8085, that is 8 pins are using, that is address pins are a address pins 0 to address pin 7, and it is 8 multiplex address bus. It is using for 8 multiplex address bus. Okay, and in 8080 that is microprocessor, the power supply voltage is plus 5 to minus 5. Power supply is for plus 5 to minus 5 voltage. Okay, in 8085 the power supply is for plus 5 volts, plus 5 volts, and for 8080 the single interrupt pins are 3. That single interrupt pins are 3. Here in 8085 the power pins are trap, RST 7.5 and RST 6.5, like that. The different pin system is used for different purposes. Okay, serial number is also different and additional chipset is also different. Okay, additional chipset is also different from 8080 and 8085 microprocessor chips. Okay, see, you also can distinguish it is a register bank, and bit addressable area. Okay, so here the registers are R0, R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7. Okay, so 8 register locations are there, is located with the 20H hexadecimal address bits. Hexadecimal address bits are located with this 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 0 with different addressable locations, with different addressable hexadecimal locations. Hexadecimal locations. Okay, so it is the area it is giving like this. Okay, and here also we can see that 00 hexadecimal, 07 hexadecimal, and 1 fixed hexadecimal. Okay, the variations it is giving like how it is communicating, how it is situated in the microprocessors. Okay, so the next we are discussing about the medium access control. What is a medium access control? That is MAC layer. Okay, so MAC layer is a combination of a data link layer and physical layer. Is a combination of data link layer and a physical layer, and it is short form of a MAC layer. Okay, short form of medium access control layer, and it is of OS. As you know, it is a combination of OSA layer. Okay, in OSA we have the 7 layers. The last 2 layers are the data link layer and the physical layer, and this MAC layer is the combination of the data link layer and the physical layer. Okay, so it incorporates the MAC header at the start of upper layer. So MAC layer is having the incorporates having the MAC header layer. Header layer is having the IP packet and CRC layer. Okay, CRC layer. Okay, and it enables flow control by segmentation. It enables flow control by segmentation, that is, and reassembly state. It has a reassembly state. Okay, and this is the physical layer communicates directly with the user. Okay, here you can see the diagram is explaining about the logical channels, transport channels, and physical channels. Okay, that logical channels and physical transport layer and physical channels are communicating from the logical channels to MAC layer and MAC layer to physical layer. Okay, so it is the combination of the data link layer and data link layer and the physical layer. It is going from the logical channels to transport channels and to physical channels. Okay, just now we have seen the 8086 microprocessor. So the same it is how the channels it is transmitting. Okay, and see, you can see here the physical channels are including physical broadcast channels, that is physical broadcast channels. Okay, here we can see the logical channels, how it is the transmitting and from place to place. Okay, logical channels to transport channels and to physical channels. Okay, how the connections is established. See here we can see that DCI and FCI are connected to physical channels. Okay, are connected to physical channels. This is the, we can say, the middle layer. Middle transport channel is the middle layer. Okay, so the newer developments in physical layer, what are the new trends? New trends are going to develop in the Wi-Fi connections that are MAC layer. Okay, now we are using the 5G, that is new layer protocol structure changes and okay, structure changes. In a previous blog, I provide an overview of the 5G. Okay, the 5G technology is establishing here, and it is covered major differences between the two frequency ranges. Okay, that is frequency range 1 and frequency range 7.125. Okay, that frequency range 2 is 7.125. Okay, so it is covered the protocol structure of 5G. It is covered the protocol structure of 5G. High performance LAN. High performance LAN is using for European standardization. And it is for high performance. It is for high performance wireless local area network. Okay, and radio waves are used instead of cables. Radio waves are used instead of cables as a transmission process. The radio transceiver is mounted to the movable station as an add-on and add-on no base station, as an add-on and add-on no basis stations. Okay, so the stations may be moved during the operation pauses or even become mobile. Okay, so for connection oriented services, for example video telephony is used. So at least 64 kilobits are used for this transmission. Okay, so as I told you, this MAC address, that is medium access channel, is a combination of the data link layer and physical layer, and it is established a layer, that is medium access sublayer, is connected with the channel access control and physical layer. Okay, the three layers are combination of hyperlan. Okay, hyperlan, that is higher layer protocols. Hyperlan requirements are short range 50 meters, that is short range and low mobility, and networks with and without infrastructure. Hyperlands requirements are short range, that is 50 meters, and low mobility, and networks with and without infrastructure, and support IO chorus traffic, and audio 32 kbps, 32 kilo megabytes per second, that is 10 nanoseconds latency is using for this, and video is ranging from 2 mbps to 100 nanoseconds latency, and support asynchronous traffic, and data ranging from 10 mbps immediate access. Data is ranging from 10 mbps as immediate access. Okay, so this is about the IEEE 802.11 standards. IEEE 802.11 standards. Okay, so you go through this topic and read more. If you find any to know more about this, you can communicate so that we can discuss about the topics. Thank you.